CDOT projects update by Ed Archuleta, CDOT representative. Good evening, Mr. Archuleta. Yeah.
How much time do I have?
Take your time.
My name's Ed Archuleta. I represent CDOT on these two projects in Cortez and Durango. I'm not a CDOT employee, but I'm a contractor at CDOT. My duty is the project manager, as project engineer on two jobs. And we'll just go through these here. So the first project is the project that most of you are familiar with. You've seen in the last, since the start of May,
Be sure you speak into the mic so we can hear you for the record.
You can.
You need to move it.
Okay.
Is that working now?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
So the first project is the project, it's a heater repaving asphalt rehab job, which everyone's seen. And what this project is, it's asphalt rehab in downtown Cortez. The limits are, not downtown Cortez, but the Cortez area. So the limits are, we started down south of County Road G from basically Belt Salvage and came up to the Johnson Building, the concrete near the Johnson Building. We wrapped that up. Then we moved to East Cortez, and we just wrapped the main recycle paving up last week. This week, we still have to pave the 145 intersection for the balance of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And we're going to do that the conventional way. You're not going to see the big heated remix train that you've seen in the last month in the town. The limits in Cortez are from Mildred, basically the end of the concrete right there at Mildred, to the Fun Center on 160. And then the 145, like I explained. And then we're moving to Dolores. And we actually started in Dolores this week. And we're going to pay from about mile marker 9.4 to 12 and a half outside of town. And so Dolores is going to get rehabbed. And then from there, we'll go up to Rico. We figure we'll be in Dolores about 10 days, and the same for Rico. So we should be done by the end of July with that operation. Now that operation is, what's unique about it, it's a heater repave. So it recycles the top mat of the existing asphalt down a depth about 1.5 inches. It heats it, that's what you've seen, the big burners. It heats that up to a couple hundred degrees, scarifies it, puts new oil in that existing asphalt mat. Then on top of that, in the same operation, it puts a new 1.5 inch mat. So we get 3 inches in one operation. In years past, CDOT has done a lot of what they call heater remix, and that's a 2-stage operation. The same, similar, the first operation and the whole train comes through and does an 1.5 inch mat. And then later, another train, the conventional train, comes through and does an 1.5 inch mat. So it's 2 operations and much longer duration for traffic control and delays to the public. That's the benefit of this operation, is that it's one operation. Believe it or not, there's some benefit to it. Any questions on that? So
I have no questions on, but I just want to compliment you on the end result. You know, the road is so smooth and easy to drive on, and you know, I know people are concerned about the construction on Main Street, but that's what we have to do in Colorado. You work on the roads when the weather permits.
And in the summer, right?
In the summer.
And the mat was pretty poor shape. I'm sure you guys noticed that. And the intersection 145 we're fixing that. So there's still some work to be done. The work that remains with that project in Cortez we have to adjust manholes, because we lowered the manholes and valve boxes, water valve boxes, and then we're raising those back up in the next week. There is a milestone for the contractor, who's Four Corners Materials, a local contractor, to be done out of Cortez by the 1st of July. And they'll be done for the most part. And the reason we're trying to set that milestone for them to be done in East Cortez is because the other project, the concrete rehab job, which I'm getting to, will be beginning after 4th of July. This current job started in March, the Four Corners job, and it's slated to get through November. It has 160 working days, so that's Monday through Friday, and they get, if there's weather days, those don't count against it. But they're on track right now, and I really do expect an early completion overall. We still do have to come back and do final striping and, you know, some traffic signs and stuff, but for the most part, we'll be done by the end of next week. Very minimal work in Cortez to wrap up some of that. We are doing some change order work, but that'll be later, and there really won't be major impacts like you've experienced. So the contract amount's $6.7 million, and like I said, it's a local contractor. The recycle company, repave company, is out of Kansas, Cutler, and they're a subcontractor to Four Corners. So the next project, which is started, and we've been in Durango since the 1st of May, west of Durango from the bridge, Animas Bridge to Wildcat Canyon, and we're grinding that now. And we've been down at County Road G, and we just wrapped that up Saturday. We did the major repairs, and I'll step through that. So this contract it's in Durango. It's from the Animas Bridge to Wildcat, West Durango. And in Cortez, it's from Mildred to Maple, or in the right direction, actually it should be Maple to Mildred, basically the concrete in downtown Cortez. And then the County Road G intersection down by the port of entry. Additionally, we're going to restripe the existing concrete on 491, essentially from the Johnson Building to Lebanon. That's just going to get restriped. We did do some panel replacement there by Maxwell Auto this last week, you noticed. We also have a few repairs that we're adding to their contract on 491 down by the Chevron in the southbound lanes. Since they're here, we're going to do some repairs. So the scope of this job is panel replacement, full depth replacement of the concrete panels, some partial depth repairs, some cross stitching, and I have some graphics for that, and then diamond grinding the whole area for smoothness and improve the traction for that roadway. Obviously, and then we'll joint and crack seal the panels and new inlaid markings. The construction is May through October, 130 working days. I really believe this contractor is going to be done by the end of August. They might go into the middle of September, but they're very efficient, and they've gained a lot of time in Durango. Contract amount's $5.2 million, and the contractor's actually interstate, and they're out of Minnesota. The concrete in Durango was originally built in 1994, the west side of Durango, from the bridge like they're working. The concrete County Road G down by the port, the M&M, was in 1999, so it's 22 years old. 491 491 in North and South Broadway was built in 2013 and 2017. So that's 8 and 4 years old. And downtown Cortez, where do I have downtown Cortez here? That was built in 1994, I believe. I don't have that on here. So concrete typically has a service life of 40 to 60 years, and like anything, it degrades. And it's just best to do some rehab on occasion, just like painting your house, just to keep it in shape. Restripe, we do the inlaid. They typically do that on a 5 to 8 year, 10-year basis, and that's what you'll see on 491. Just that's the rehab of that. And this is just a graphic. So essentially, you know, the project pavement degrades, you do a rehab, you get the life back up, and you just do it over a series of time. And essentially what happens is you extend the life of the project. You extend the life of the pavement. Like I said, it's like just working on your house. A little bit more extensive, but similar concept. It's just desirable reconstruction. And I can't tell you how ugly it would be to do concrete reconstruction. I don't think I want to be around for that one if we ever do that. So It's cheaper overall, less service. It does improve safety, and we are doing environmentally safe. Drivability is going to improve. I don't know, you guys probably noticed the pavement in downtown Cortez, if you get the right wheelbase of car, you go ton, 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 ton. Well, what's happened is those panels curl, and they curl more in the summertime. And that's why it's best to do this grinding in the heat of the summer when it has its max curl. So when we grind them, we have the better chance of getting it smoother for a year-round success. So, like I said, we're doing partial depth, cross-stitching, adjust manholes and valve boxes. We'll diamond grind the whole area, and we'll reseal the joints and cracks. Here's just a graphic. On the right, or on the left, is a partial depth. They just chip it out. They put some high early strength concrete in there, and in these cases, we get strength in about 4 hours on this mix. The full depth repairs, they pull the full panel out and they replace it, put reinforcing in there as necessary. In this case, we get strength in 24 hours. And this summer, we've been getting strength in about 19 hours. So that going to come into play in downtown Cortez, and I'll come into that. It takes a while to get cured. So cross-stitching is there's a crack, and the contractor drills through, and we basically reinforce that crack with 2 cross-stitch bars, and they're epoxied in place. And we do all these repairs before we grind, obviously. Now, we did this in West Durango in like 2005, and they've held up pretty well. And they did some more there. There's not a lot of cross-stitching in Cortez, and honestly, there's not a lot of repairs in Cortez downtown as compared to Durango, West Durango. This is holding up pretty well. So the diamond grinding, the existing concrete surface is just improved by, we get some texture to it. So we increase the friction, get the smoothness into it, and we'll take out those, hopefully we take out most of that curl that you feel as you drive those panels. In Durango, I don't know if anybody's been going through there, but there has been a vast improvement on that west side. I'm pretty impressed. Now, it's not going to be 100% smooth because concrete just has dips and valleys just like anything else, so we just can't get it all out, but we can greatly improve the writability of that concrete and the texture. This is just a graphic that constant loading, bouncing, does wear on the concrete. And this, I borrowed this from a previous presentation. Especially the trucks. Trucks are a lot of wear and tear on the highways. So the rougher it is, the more loading is, you just load, you smooth it out, you just get less loading to that concrete. So the schedule, the heater repave was completed before that. We're going to be out of the Interstate's way when they start up here after July. I don't think Interstate's taking a long weekend, the 4th of July holiday. They're not going to start here till like Thursday the 7th. I think the 7th is a Thursday. They're not going to be here till the 7th. The pre-grind and the concrete repairs at County Road G has been done, like I explained. That's done. Next thing to do down there, they'll start grinding down there after they get done in Durango. And after G's done, that's when they'll come to downtown Cortez. So the limits for downtown Cortez are, like I said, Maple to Mildred. And the grinding and joint sealing in downtown from Maple to Mildred will be done at night during the weekdays. And restriping will be occurring during the day and possibly nighttime. So the hours of operation and the limits from Maple to Mildred, they're going to work Sunday nights from 8 to 6 in the morning for grinding. And we're going to take 3 blocks at a time. And the way the traffic is going to go, we're going to head eastbound first on the outside lane, and the traffic will be put head to head on the opposite side of the median. So as we're going eastbound, The traffic will all be shifted to the 2 lanes in the westbound, but alternating, or excuse me, not alternating, head-to-head, divided by vertical panels. So they'll be on the existing westbound lanes in a 1-lane configuration in each direction. When they get to Mildred, they'll turn around and come back, and they'll go the westbound outside lane. We'll have the same. The traffic will be switched to the other side. Then we'll do the 2 median lanes together, and traffic will be split on each side in each direction. Sounds simple, but when it gets to intersections and cross traffic, it'll get a little bit more complicated, but we'll have the intersections closed off, and there's plenty of routes around. We've been in contact with the fire department, and they're aware of this, so they'll be aware that, you know, they have to take alternate routes for emergencies during this time. So nighttime, I hope you understand that it's going to be noisy, but it's just better at nighttime. I don't think there's as many residents in downtown Cortez as there's in downtown Durango, and it's going to be easier on the businesses too. If we were to do this during the day, I don't think we'd have a lot of happy business owners. So disadvantages, obviously, the noise. I think for the most part, we're away from a lot of the hotels. I know there's some up by City Market and then down here towards Maple, but for the most part, the hotels are a distance away. Any questions? Concerns?
Yeah, I just had a question about the asphalt section. What's the life cycle on that?
15 to 20 years,
Okay, thank you.
something along those lines.
Did you install a bike lane? Did I notice that sort of by the cemetery and Maverick? And
There was a restripe, a good observation. So from the Fun Center, well, I started there's the cemetery, I believe, to Mildred, there was a restripe. So the through lanes were narrowed to 10.5. The median was narrowed to 12, I believe. And then there was a bike lane on the outside in each direction. And it does end at the concrete. It does not continue. The existing striping on the concrete from Maple to Mildred will stay as it is.
I have a question about when you do the concrete panels, is that a special concrete mix that you put in there to makes it dry cure so fast?
There is, yes. Four Corners Materials is supplying the concrete for the Cortez side, and their mix is going to, I think it's, like I said, 19 hours to get 3,000 PSI, and we've been having good success with that in Durango.
Yeah.
Now, we did use a mix in County Road G that we got opened up in 7 hours, but we only use that for a few panels right in the middle of County Road G intersection. Some of you may know that we closed that intersection, the east and west crossing. And that concrete, it's just too risky to use. The life of it is not going to be as long as the other mix, so we're not going to use that in downtown Cortez. But Four Corners does a pretty good job. Their mix designs. I was impressed.
Yeah, thank you. Any other
Questions, concerns?
Comments? I'd just like to thank you for telling us the procedure. It's very complicated, and it helps us, people that have to live here and drive around the streets, to know that, how much is involved in this process, the laying of the asphalt and working with the concrete. And I think it helps understand, and we can have more patience. We know what's actually involved in the process. And
Well, thank you for your patience. I'll tell you, it's not fun being on this end either, believe me.
yeah,
And I'll stay in communication with Phil and we've done that in the past. And, so if there's any questions, you can go through Phil, you can get them to me, and we'll show him our traffic control plan and make sure he's on top of it. We'll share it with emergency services, so everybody's on board.
And my only comment too is to make sure that we get information and maps from you so that we can share that on our Facebook page to the public and make it clear on what to expect.
I will say, I think our public information person, Nancy Shanks, does a really good job, but if there's any concerns or any other information, please reach out and we can improve that or answer any questions. She does a pretty good job at that. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Archuleta. Appreciate your coming tonight. Okay. Next item on the agenda is public hearings, ordinance number 1288, Series 2021. Good evening,
All right, I'll talk to you.
Mr. Patton, Jeremy Patton, the airport manager.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council, City of Cortez. So last council meeting, I presented the first reading and the lease agreement approval for the U.S. federal government TSA for the land lease agreement at the terminal at the airport. So in this segment, we're going to consider the second reading. Nothing's changed since then. We haven't changed any of the parameters of the lease agreement or negotiations. So everything else is the same. So staff recommends that City Council approve on second reading ordinance 1288, Series 2021, TSA lease for 5 years commencing July 1, 2021 through June 30th of 2026. Yep.
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve on second and final reading ordinance number 1288, Series 2021, approving a lease with the United States of America for airport terminal space, TSA CE2.
Second.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Medina. Rainey.
Aye.
Levy.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is new business. First item is bid results from the 2021 Street Improvement Project. Director of Public Works, Phil Johnson. Good evening, Phil.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of City Council. This is our capital program for this year's 2021 street improvements, where we're doing a lot of chip seal maintenance work, doing improvements in curb and gutter and the like. This consists of 650 tons of asphalt, 42,000 square yards of chip seal coating, 200 pounds of crack sealing and asphalt pavement, some concrete sidewalk, curb and gutter, and 2 ADA ramps, as well as, like I said earlier, some gutter pen. The city's contract engineer, SGM, prepared the bid plans and specifications for this project. A pre-bid meeting was conducted on June 2nd with all interested prospective bidders. Bids were opened on June 11, 2021, with one bid received from Oldcastle Southwest Incorporated at $846,697. That's Four Corners that Ed had mentioned earlier. They're one and the same. And I just wanted to note that our engineer's estimate on all of this work was $848,770. So this project came in really tight. I think the contractor did a really good job, as well as the engineers, in bringing our costs in line to today's dates. So staff recommend, you have alternatives. You can approve this bid for the project. So you can approve the bid with any changes. You can vote not to approve, or you can table this item as you see fit. And Public Works recommends the award of this bid to Oldcastle in the amount of $846,697. And we are fully funded in the street improvement program for this project.
Thank you, Phil. Have we worked with the Oldcastle people before?
Yes, sir. Actually, they are doing our concrete cost share project this year as well. Not a concrete cost share, forgive me, but the Mildred and Montezuma intersection work that will be teeing off soon. They have that project as well.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the council? Comments? Can I have a motion on this item, please?
I'll do it.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to award the bid to Old Castle Southwest Group, Inc. in the amount of $846,697 for the 2021 street improvement project.
Second.
Dobry,
Aye.
Kiefhoffer,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Medina,
Aye.
Levy.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. Item number 7B was removed from the agenda. Next item is ordinance number 1289, Series 2021, Associate Planner Neva Connolly.
Honorable Mayor, before you proceed, this is Councilwoman Medina. I'm going to recuse myself because my house is listed in this. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Medina is recusing herself from this item.
Okay. All right, so good evening.
Go ahead, Neva.
All right. So I'm going to be brief on this since this is just the first reading and you guys do have the staff memo for this ordinance. So the City of Cortez received a grant from the State Historical Preservation Office in 2020 to conduct a survey of potentially historic structures along south of First Street and along Second Street. The Woods Canyon Archaeological Consultants were selected to perform this survey. Of the 23 structures that were inventoried, 13 were eligible for local historic preservation listing. 5 properties were eligible for the state register, and 1 property was eligible for the national register. So 3 of those property owners one at 21 East 2nd Street, 411 East 1st Street, and 123 South Market Street have applied to the city for local historic designation, and we do that designation through an ordinance. The Historic Preservation Board reviewed these applications on June 3rd and recommended forwarding the applications to City Council for approval. So these properties are all locally significant, and the ordinance would make them official on our city register. So.
Thank you, Neva. Any questions or comments from the council? For the first reading? Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve on first reading ordinance number 1289, Series 2021, approving the inclusion of the structures located within the Cortez original town site to be included in the City of Cortez Register of Historic Structures, Sites, and Districts, specifically the structures located at 21 East 2nd Street, 411 East 1st Street, and 123 South Market Street, and set the public hearing and second reading on July 13th, 2021.
Second.
Dobry,
Aye.
Kiefhoffer,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Levy.
Aye. Thank you, Neva. Next item will be the second citizen participation. If any member of the public wants to comment more than once, or they shall not cede the time to another commenter. Are there any public commenters in this second session? Seeing none, we move on. No city attorney report, no city manager report.
Mayor, we did get an email with the city manager report. Do we say that or what?
Yes, if one of you want to read the information, that would be great. If you want it for the record, we can add that in or not. But yes, if you want to read it, do you?
I do, yeah. I can read it unless you want to read it.
You can do it.
Okay. Mic's off. Okay. So the city manager's report. So the following are the top 3 topics from the previous 2 weeks. Number 1 is broadband. We're moving forward with the process to determine the next steps. The staff and city manager are going to meet with service provider Allo next week to discuss the prior business relationship. Number 2 is a possible marijuana taxation, formulating a tentative plan on how to proceed on this, making arrangements to consult with marijuana dispensaries this week after the 4th of July holiday. And number 3, the library director position. They're moving forward with the hiring process, and there are 4 candidates. Interviews are set up for the week of July 12th, 2021.
Yeah, I've got one. Three of us, Council Member Dobry, Medina, and myself, attended the disaster considerations for senior level. I don't remember what the title was. It's really long, but it was basically a 3.5-hour long training with the Department of Homeland Security regarding essentially national incident management system, like broad level, like general level stuff of like just managing disasters and whatnot. So that was really good. It was at the commissioner's meeting room. And I also attended the Parks and Rec Advisory Board meeting. That was over at Veterans Park. There was a discussion on water. We did have the city manager present, as well as another staff to discuss the water situation and how we might proceed to try to keep our parks looking somewhat good with all things considering the water situation. We also discussed a possible installation and walking path at Veterans Park. Thank you.
Thank you, Arlena. Any other committee reports? Rachel?
Last week, I attended the CML, the Colorado Municipal League Effective Governance Workshop. That was an all-day long thing, and that was a really great workshop. Learned a lot more detail about Robert's rules and kind of all the things that involve local government. And then I was appointed as our voting delegate for CML, and so I attended the business meeting on Monday, and 3 of our regional government officials made it onto the CML board, which is good, so they'll help represent Southwest Colorado. Melissa Yosef, council member in Durango. I can't remember the other positions for the others, but someone from Bayfield and someone from Ignacio. So it's good to have our corner of the state represented and advocate for us. And then this morning I attended the kind of 4th of July meeting. And, I think staff and our fire department and everyone is well prepared for the holiday weekend, and I, highly encourage folks to come and enjoy that event, and I think it's going to be a great turnout, and even though we're in a fire danger, I think this is the safest place to have it, and so we, hope to see you all there on Sunday, July 4th for the 4th of July fireworks.
Thank you, Rachel. Any other committee reports? I attended the Southwest COG meeting. It was on Zoom, and we discussed many things. The largest topic was the broadband funding from the ARPA declaration, and discussed how there's $340 billion available, and $65 billion of that will be under the infrastructure bill. There's $300 million allotted to local governments, including public, private groups. let's see, discuss the broadband, their definition of broadband, if it's 25 up and 3 down, that's considered unserved area. And 100 up and 100 down is called underserved. So anything above that is considered broadband. And we're very limited in the amount of broadband in the Southwest, as you know. So there's a great need to have broadband expanded in this area. There's a need for funding for grant writing, and let's see. They did an audit extension request. There's going to be a special meeting on July 13th, 2021 at 1:30 p.m. There's an application for transit mobility grant, which was approved. The DOLA broadband grant application for the middle mile was approved. The CDL contract memo for PPC adult education was approved. That involves workforce upskilling to teach people how to basically use computers and how to connect to the internet once the internet is connected. We approved a contract for all hazards coordination. We ratified the congressional directed spending request between Durango and Pagosa. We had a director's report, Senate Bill 1289, state broadband funding, and we had grant updates from the Ute broadband, Toyac Airport truck stop areas. And we had the transportation report, Senate Bill 267. So it was quite a busy Southwest COG meeting. The other item I'm going to read is the council workshop. Tonight, we interviewed 4 candidates for the Public Arts Advisory Committee, and we spoke with them, we met them, and we'll make a decision later on. Basically, that's covers what I have to cover on the committees. Are there any other comments, questions, points? Anyone? Okay, I'll do a recap. We had the Ride the Rockies on June 14th, and that was a total success. There's almost 2,000 bikers in this town, living in tents and in motels and motorhomes, and we had the construction, which we had to work around that, and it went amazingly smooth. The bike riders are happy. They just love the accommodations from Cortez, and they love the park system and the way it was set up. A shout out to Southwest Health Systems, because there's a mix-up in the feeding of the group people, and they stepped in with a lot of help and information, and the Cortez area Chamber of Commerce stepped in too and supplied manpower and womanpower to help do the cooking and help serving. So with this coordination effort through all these agencies, it was a total success. This weekend coming up is the Celtic Fair on Saturday, June 26th at the Parc de Vida from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And on Sunday, June 27th, we're going to host the Montezuma Pride Picnic. That'd be from 2 to 6 p.m. also at the Parc de Vida. And the catering will be by the Rez Girls Catering, and Rosa Sabito is going to make her famous tacos. Anyway, that just about covers it. Are there any other comments, questions? I call this meeting adjourned. Good evening. Yeah.
I'm not complaining.
No, I'm not either. Thank you, Justin. Hello, Colton. Good seeing you.